this morning and the words of encouragement by Mr. Raymond and the song. We are here today to honor all of our students who had participated in the American Indian Higher Education Consortium Conference. Our students haven't been able to participate during COVID, and we were really excited to be able to take our students there to join in with all the other TCUs. And one of the things that I wanted to point out is that a lot of our students who participated, they contributed their time, their energy, their commitment to their coaches, and I also want to recognize the coaches as well. When I went up there, when we went up to AIHEC, I've been at the Guadalajara College since 2005, and I haven't participated in any AIHEC events. Like many of you, we were faculty members and administrators. We stayed behind and we did a lot of work. And while those who went off, the students went off, and the coaches went off to represent Guadalajara College and put their best foot forward, not only on behalf of Guadalajara College, but on behalf of our Oglala Sioux tribe and their families and their Teostais. I was really fortunate to be able to go this year and attend the student events, and when I went, it was really empowering to see them. It was empowering to see our students perform, the coaches in the hallways getting ready, and I know some coaches staying up all night working with the students. Students were moving around. When I went to some of the speech competitions, it was really uplifting, really warmed my heart. I was so proud, and I think the majority of us who were sitting in the crowd were just proud of our students. And it was really amazing to see that it wasn't just about winning, it was about sharing their knowledge, sharing their experiences, and for us to be able to be there to see the work that they put into it. And I want to share one event. The Knowledge Bowl. I thought the Knowledge Bowl was more exciting than a basketball game. We were all sitting there, when they were going through the rounds. We went to the first round, and they went to the second round, and as we were going through, they were answering questions. I looked around, everyone's legs were shaking in the crowd, no one was saying anything, but watching languages, and whenever they got the answers right, we were all extremely happy. The team, the Knowledge Bowl team, really worked well together, so I'm really proud of them, even though they didn't place. And with that in mind, I think it's just really important for us to all gather and then to recognize the effort that all of the participants have contributed in preparation for AIHEC. So I wanted to invite all of the coaches up and recognize their participation and their efforts, because in addition to teaching, in addition to being staff members, they took the time out of their lives to come and work with their students in the evenings, to do all the coordinating, to get the students there, to make sure that they had what they need while we were in Albuquerque. So I'm going to ask the coaches to come up and stand by me and be recognized as I give you a certificate. The first one is Caroline Newhoy. Caroline Newhoy was a coach for the Knowledge Bowl, and so I really appreciate her patience, her quiet perseverance, and her strength, and I think that really resonated with all of her students that she had on her team. So all of our coaches to please stand up here and be recognized while I hand out all the other student awards as well. The next one is Kim Ballion. I don't know if everyone understands what all goes into speech. I said, Kim, do you want to go get something to eat? She said, no, I'm working with a student. Student needs to print something out. She was constantly working day and night. I don't think she got to enjoy any of the sites because she really had her heart into it. And that reflected in a lot of the students in their speeches and the representation of the college and the integrity of the college. And I'm really proud of her and proud of her team. The next one is Lena Goins. Lena was the traditional plants, foods, and herbs. I know Lena is a center director, and it's not an easy job being the center director. moving, working with your staff, working with students, working with administration. So I want to give her special recognition for putting her foot forward and helping with the students there. I tried to go and observe the traditional plants, foods, and herbs, but I didn't realize that it was a closed session and we couldn't go out, so I did try to sneak in and observe. The next one is Daryl Redcloud. Daryl Redcloud is one of the coaches for the One Act play. And the second coach that I want to recognize is Marcus Bear Eagle, who is also the coach for the One Act play. The two individuals here, they really did a remarkable job working with the students and making sure that they knew their scripts, that they were encouraging the students, building their confidence. And when we sat in that play, it was a long play, but we really enjoyed it. And it was a really intense and serious play that they had produced and that they had acted out. And we all loved it. And I mean, didn't think that we would be sitting in there crying, but it brought tears to all of our eyes. So I wish they could have been here, but a lot of the team, the main actress couldn't make it here today. So with Marcus Bear Eagle and Daryl Redcloud, I want to recognize them, and they're not here today, so we'll give these certificates to Karen. The next one is Stephanie Sorbo and Paulina Fastwell. They were the hand game coaches. These individuals came in, they worked really hard with their hand game, the students who were in the hand game competitions. We all ran over to the gym, we sat there, and they looked amazing. The clothes that they had, the skirts they had, the guys were all up in their shirts, everyone was excited. And I said that was amazing to see, because I've never been to a hand game tournament, but we were all into it. Pretty soon, Marilyn, Megan, all of us were sitting in the back dancing with them and encouraging them. But as normal, they were going too long, so as I get older, I needed my sleep, so I had to leave them. But we were able to watch them while they were through the live streaming, so I really appreciate the work that they do and the commitment and the excitement that they bring to AIHEC. So thank you, Steph. The next one is Misty Brave. Misty Brave was the coach for the Science Bowl poster and oral presentations. So a lot of our students, we were so pleased, and I'm really glad and grateful for the commitment and dedication Misty has shown to the college over the years and for all of the students. It was really amazing. Misty has always been a great encourager to students. I remember when they won, she came screaming, "We took third!" And we were all happy, and she was running down like she won a marathon, and we were all super excited. And then to see the professionalism of the math and science students, I was so proud of them. They stood there, they did their presentations, they were excited about the work that they've done, and that's a really good reflection of Oglala Lakota College, and a really good reflection of the work that we need to continue on in math, science, and technology, and recognizing the faculty too, because it wasn't just this AIHEC presentation, it was a representation of all of their work being involved in the math and science department program. So shout out to the math and science faculty. The next one is Mary Monroe. Mary Monroe is the business bowl coach. I don't know if she's here, but all of you may know, Mary, when she walks in a room, it's like, hey, she's there. She brings that energy, and the business bowl students, they were really working hard. I mean, they were excited about it. They were studying in the hallways. They were moving to their next event. They were also encouraging others, and they did a really wonderful job. And so I really want to thank Mary for the work that she's done, and also for the business department for the work that they've done, because that's also a reflection on their education and the knowledge that they've received going through the classes. So I want to thank the coaches, and we got two more coaches, sorry. The next one is Al Woundedhead, who is a coach for critical inquiry, and also Chrisanne Smallwood, who is a coach for critical inquiry. This is another exciting competition. I know that they were working really diligent with their students, and I really appreciate the work that they have done. I know Chrisanne and Al, the students, recognize all of the effort and the commitment that they've had, and so, like everyone knows, Al and Chrisanne's character, they're a joy to be around. So with that, I also want to, this year, normally in the past, we've honored the winners of the AIHEC competitions, but after being at that event and experiencing what I've experienced and seeing all of the students, their commitment, their dedication, and how much work that they put into it and the excitement, I was extremely proud of them. I could not believe how encouraging this event was and how it really uplifted not just the Wallapota College participants, but the collegiality, the networking between all the TCUs. And so we felt that merited recognition on behalf of all of the student participation. So we're going to go ahead and give out student participation awards before we give out the awards to the winners. And I'm going to ask the students that are here if you can come up and then shake the coach's hand and then line up beside the coaches so we can get ready for an honoring song. So the first student we have is Joni Buckman, who participated in the traditional plants and herbs competitions. The next one is Christina Plentywounds, who participated in the traditional plants and herbs.
I was really proud of these two. We were supposed to have a team of 3, but somehow we only had a team of 2. And they were both on, well, Christina was on the knowledge goal team too. So it was really kind of tricky and hard, but I really appreciate all their dedication and hard work they put in. They had like 9 books. One of the books was over 300 pages, and it was really exciting and heartbreaking and at the same time, but we're going to make improvements and hopefully go back and swipe and take first next year. But thanks for the opportunity. It was fun.
Continuing improvement, we have improvements for AIHEC. So the next was hand games. Emmanuel Blackbear.
He went to Apollo.
Lane Bordeaux. Callan Meston. Maverick Gray Horse. Michelle Fastwood.
She's at Disneyland.
Tyler Stark comes out.
She's at
Connor Ruby Doo. We're going to have to learn some of those hand game moves. booze. Enjoy New Holy. And Veronica Basquiat.
I just want to say that with the time that we had, we heard that we were going to get to go to AIHEC, so we got to put a team together. So we rushed, had tryouts. We put a team together of 8. I stole 2 other students from other groups, and they worked their butts off. We only had about 3 actual practices, but within that, we also had a ribbon skirt workshop because there was a dress competition. So these are some of the ribbon skirts that we put together. We put belts together, so they learned how to do belts and they learned how to do ribbon skirts. And we went up there. I only had 2 students that have ever been to, oh, we're missing one, Farah. I'm sorry, Farah. There you are. she won an award in the other category, so it's going to come with the other one. There you are. She's always late, so she's used to this. Yeah, but so we did really good, and I'm so proud of them. We won our first one, so we had a little break from that, and then we had our second game we lost, so we had to bring it back up. So the next 4 games we played back to back, and one of the games I think was a little over an hour and a half long, and by the time we got to the 5th game, we were so exhausted. But they're all excited and ready to come back and jam next year. They all said they want to do first since they know what to do now.
Participants in the Science Bowl poster and oral presentation. The first student is Sandy Little. Trey Phelps. I'm really proud, in addition to participating, being a member of the Student Senate, and also being a graduate of 2023. He applied to a Master's of Arts in Teaching Earth Science residency through the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, and he was accepted. So we're really proud and happy. It's a 15-month long process, and he'll graduate with a Master's of Arts in August. His projected graduation date is 2024, and this offers 2 years of support after graduation and the first year as a teacher in and around New York City. So we're really proud of Charles.
Okay, like with our team, we always try to have a variety of people on the team. We don't want people just heavy in life sciences, so I tossed it up to the math and science students, and 3 people wanted to do it, and it ended up the best combo ever. We had one that was engineering and math. We had one like Charles, who was more life science, and then we had a pre-nursing student for human anatomy and physiology. You talk about a dynamite combo, and 2 of them are coming back next year, so we'll be first place next year. Yeah, and the projects that they did, we only had 2 that really wanted to participate, and Charles had an interesting project, and he can tell you a little bit more if he wants to. And then Trey had one that was through chemistry tech, and I didn't understand a lot of it because it's physics and stuff. But his was pretty cool too, and he's a good talker. And he didn't think he could be, but he is. And I was real proud of both of them because they stood by their projects all day long.
Thank you. The next one is Simone Lasthorst, who participated in critical inquiry. Farah Oliver. Dakota AIHEC. He's wearing one of the jackets that all of our participants received in representing Oglala College.
Yeah, so this year we actually had a quite group. Majority of our members, they all participated in other competitions. So what was pretty much unique about this group was all of our members were part of it. So a lot of our members were part of the speech competition. So they kind of elaborated more on the presentation and they focused more on the environmental impact of tribal communities. So they did an excellent job.
And I'm proud of all of them.
Okay, thank you. The next is Kane Goldsberry, who participated in the Knowledge Bowl. Christina Plentywombs, who participated in the Knowledge Bowl. Sandy Little. And Lynette Nolan. And Caroline was the coach of the Knowledge Bowl, so I'm going to let her say some words.
I'm really proud of the 3 students that on the second day of the AIHEC competition, they won their first game, I think, at 11 o'clock. And then we had a little break for lunch, and then from 1 to 5 that day, they did the competition back to back, and they were studying all the way through, and it was the last game that they lost, but I'm really proud of them because one of the books that we were supposed to study, we only got the day before we left for AIHEC, so they did a lot of work, they did a lot of study, and they had a lot of commitment and represented OLC really well, so thank you.
And the next are Tammy Condon, who participated in the one-act play. Christina Seaboard. Angeline Brewer. And Farah also participated in the one-act play. Competitions. Do you want to say something, Farah?
When we tried out Marcus, he was one who wrote the play, and it was amazing and it was funny, and we had tons of support from everybody here. They came and they watched it, and we had a really good experience. It was amazing. So Marcus did great, Daryl did great, and the whole cast was amazing. So, yeah.
Racine Carter, who participated in Business Bowl. Heather Wright. Brianna Dushna Clown. And Travis Richards. All right, I want to thank all of the participants, and if you could stay up here, we're going to get ready to do the winners who are placed in the AIHEC competitions. So the first one who placed was Lauren Hope Florney, who placed in women's basketball. The basketball competition occurred outside of the AIHEC time frames, but they played in North Dakota, and I don't know if Mary Tobacco is here to say anything on behalf of the girls' basketball team. The other team member was Jacoby Knight, Justina Puyer, Jay Allen Redbox, Macy Roulard, and Tara Roulard. And we're really pleased that one of our own Brave Hearts placed as the received award for women's basketball scholar athlete of the year, and that goes to Lauren Hope Florney. And Macy Roulard. Macy earned the Alternate Team Award during the AIHEC 2023 spring competitions. So next is Science Bowl. The Science Bowl, they all placed third. And so this award goes to Charles Bush. Sandy Little, who also played in the Science Bowl, took third place.
And Trey Orient. Trey Orient.
Oh, and Trey Orient, who also took third place. And Tesla Knight. So Tesla Knight took third in drawing. So the next award goes to Simone Lasthorse, who participated in speech duo interpretive humorous, and she received second place. The next award goes to Veronica Fastwood, in speech humorous, who received second place. And we'll be seeing a performance from Veronica today. The next award, we should just have Dakota stay up here. We were thinking of giving him 3 plaques all on one, and we don't know how much wall space he has, so we chose to give him 1 plaque with 3 places. And so Dakota placed in 3 categories. He took second place in speech informative, third place in speech serious persuasive, and second place in speech duo interpretive humorous. So really proud of Dakota. The next award, Walla Dakota College is awarding for outstanding achievement to Des Sawi Little White Man for participating in the Tribal College Journal for Best Poetry. And Des Sawi will read her poetry to us today, so we're really grateful she's here. All right, so congratulations to all the 2023 AIHEC participants and award winners. We're extremely proud of you. If we can all line up here, we want to do an honoring song.
So I didn't read this at AIHEC because I wasn't there at AIHEC. I just presented this, or I submitted this to the Tribal College Journal thing, so I didn't read it, but I've read it before. So a little bit of context for this poem. I wrote this when I was attending a poetry reading for one of my good friends. Her name's Kinsel Drake. She's a Dene poet, and she's awesome, and I got inspiration to write this poem when I was listening to not only her, but a few other poets read their poetry, and it made me think about being a poet and my journey as a writer and writing poetry and performing poetry, and it made me think about how sometimes it gets a little lonely when you're a poet, because, you know, a lot of poets are romanticized. You know, we're always like, love stories or love poems. Fall in love with a poet and they'll keep you like immortalized for all eternity through writing. And it made me think about that lonesome feeling that you get as a writer, as a poet. And so I wrote this poem. It's called Be the Muse for Once. And this is a dedication to all my poet friends and any poet out there. So, yeah. Have you ever noticed the way your fingers fidget between lined journal paper? And do you know about the glow you radiate before you perform a piece? Does the excitement begin when you're writing a poem or when your poems meet mic and stand? And is it scary? The excitement. Is it exhausting being a poet? To find the caramel in a traumatic moment, or to find purpose in the mundane. I know the burdens of carrying an anchor in a dried up sea, and trying to find the blooming roses in the caves of forgotten dreams. The ache to have a poem written about you, for you, creeps in the walls and sleeps in the attics of our homes, and we're left to wonder if it's shy or here to haunt us. We are the poets, the hopeless romantics. We are the romanticized lovers who write about our partner's perfect imperfections, or how the trees smile when we sing to ourselves on an afternoon stroll. But no one talks about the bones in a sack on a rack in the back rooms of wondering what it's like to be the topic of a poem. What a thrill it would be to have a poem dedicated for you. I want to know how the ocean carefully carries seashells to the seashores so that my feet can stumble upon them and my fingers can caress the edges of a metaphorical seashell of your wildest desires. The wondrous curiosity of what you think the autumn skies whisper about when my back is turned and if the leaves blush when they turn red. This poem is for the poets who forget to breathe when writing stanzas of a moment so precious and image retained. This is for the ones who stare at the night sky while the stars swim in the abyss of their pupils, the ones who keep their favorite poems in a box with a lock under their bed so that they feel the security of having it read. I want to taste the burdens from the tears and sweat that pours out as you finish that final line. Make my way into your arms so that I could embrace your collapse. I know what it's like to only have the comfort of a pen and paper, a laptop keyboard clicking, and a thesaurus to try and find the right word for what you're feeling. Let me help you find shelter between the similes and metaphors, because maybe, for once, we can breathe. We can build a garden of our favorite fruits from the labors we endured, make jelly sandwiches with dandelions, and I have a question for you. How does it feel to be the topic of a poem? Thank you.
Pay attention, Mom.
Abete Washte, Midak Yapi, Lakota Chaje Tiagla Devi Imachapicho. Government Chaje Veronica Shumani Dutonka Luzaha Davis Imachapicho. Ogala Okaspe Imataha Ogala Awati. Good day, my relatives. My Lakota name is Kills Close to Lodge Woman. My government name is Veronica Fastos Davis, and I am from the Oglala district on the home reservation. This first speech is a persuasive speech, and it's called Murder on Lakota Lands. It is very heavy, and I did a lot of research on this, a lot of painful research that just made me cry. It took me almost a month to finish this speech because of how heavy it is and how dark the research was. So, here we go. Today I'm going to persuade you to stand in solidarity with me. We as Native people face so many challenges and threats. On our homelands of Pioneer, South Dakota, we have murderers that walk freely among us. There's violence everywhere, whether it's sexual, domestic, physical, or gun-related. Today I will be sharing more than several stories of why we all need to stand strong in solidarity to help make this world, if not a better but safer place for future generations. With our Indigenous relatives across the country, together we can stand united in prayer against the stereotypes we are labeled in today's society. We are not just drunk Indians, we are not just high savages, and we are not just another dead Indian. We need the world to see that we too are human with our own ways of life. We are created to heal ourselves within. We can become the people who oppress our people, but we can do it in a more fashionable way. With writing this speech, I cried every time I did the research. I shut down reading every case because it is traumatizing. This topic is all too familiar for us. The world has been ignoring it for too long, and it hits home for my family and I. It is time to be heard. If my voice shakes, I'll still proudly speak for my people. The gun violence is humane for my people back home. This leads me to the most tragic case I've read recently, and it only happened 5 miles from my home. On May 5th, 2022, baby Logan Warrior Goins was only 6 years old when he was fatally shot in a drive-by shooting at his grandmother's home. Bullets pierced baby Logan and his Siamese cat, named Simon, while he was watching TV in the living room. The assailants are unknown and remain at large. Just 2 more miles down the road from baby Logan, a father and son named Harold Tobacco, Sr. and Jr., were found dead in their home from gunshot wounds. Their bodies were found on January 31st, 2023, 6 days from when they were last seen and heard of. Their assailants are unknown and remain at large. An Oglala Two-Spirit woman named A.C. Morrison is also a victim of gun violence. She was shot by a man on August 21st, 2022 in Rapid City, South Dakota. The shooter is known but is claiming self-defense. The family is still fighting for AC's justice to this day. Violence in general is common in little towns on our reservation. There's a repeat offenders who get away with a slap on the wrist. According to a website called everystat.org, and I quote, gun deaths by intent in South Dakota are 80% of the gun deaths are suicide and 13 are homicides. This is compared to 60% and 38% nationwide respectively. What can we do as young leaders wanting to change the world? We can care for each other, we can live in healthy ways by giving up the bad, letting go of the past, and healing ourselves within. The Creator made us to be resilient. Maria Mason first was only 57 years old, and she was beaten and left for dead behind a church in Pioneer, South Dakota. Her assailant was masked while and was caught on video running away from the scene. But he is still unidentified, and her case remains cold as the night she was killed. Terrence Waters is also a victim of a drunken hit and run. He was hit and left for dead walking back to his house on January 23rd, 2021. The person who killed Terrence never came forward. Nevaeh Braveheart, a 14-year-old Lakota girl, was a victim of a hit and run accident in Rapid City, South Dakota. A white man named Jordan Harris led the scene, cleaned his truck from the evidence, and repainted his vehicle after he left Nevaeh for dead next to the train tracks. She died in her mother's arms. Jordan pleads not guilty and is only facing 2 years jail time while a 27-year-old Lakota woman named Juanita Wolf was sentenced to 15 years in prison while she pleaded guilty and showed compassion and accidentally wrecked her best friend who passed away. On ArgusLeader.com, I quote, in South Dakota, vehicular homicide is considered a nonviolent crime, carrying a maximum of sentence of 15 years in prison and a $30,000 fine. Where is Nevaeh and Terrence's justice? Let us not forget about our missing loved ones. As a little sister searching for my big brother Andre Gibbons Starr's body, it was devastating to me. I cried every time I searched for him. I screamed his name, praying he'd hear us. His recovery search changed my family's lives forever, and we can never come back from it. In October of last year, for 38 days of our time, we dedicated our minds, bodies, and souls to recovering his body. A news reporter named Jasmine Jackson from a local South Dakota news broadcast center called Kellerland, I quote, as of today, there are 103 people missing in South Dakota, with Indigenous people making up 62% of all missing persons, despite being only 8.7% of the state's population. According to the Attorney General's Missing Persons page, Indigenous women make up 28% of all missing people, and 63% of women currently missing in South Dakota. Across the nation, there are no task force and guidelines set in place to help assist searching for your missing loved ones. We have marches, we have rallies, we say their names, but are we actually heard? Annie Chief Eagle's body was discovered wrapped up in a blanket in a ditch a quarter mile from her home. The ME ruled her death from weathered by hypothermia, but she had obvious trauma to her face and head. Her killers walk freely in our community of Oglala. Cheryl Teal Long Soldier was well known in my hometown for her beautiful beadwork. Tia went missing on January 3rd, 2022, just after the New Year. Her family also searched the grid of our hometown, Oglala. Her case remains cold as well. Shayna Young Man, not afraid of his horses, was a lovely 17-year-old Lakota girl. Shayna was last seen February 3rd, 2022 in Pioneer, South Dakota, but her body was discovered in Manderson, South Dakota 8 days later. She died from a gunshot wound. Her assailants are awaiting trials and sentencing. I wanted to inform you all on these cases from my home because they're the ones that recently happen without justice and without cause. It seems everywhere we go we have to watch our backs because we as women have a target on it. Again, standing together, we can fight everything we face in prayer, good health, passing on compassion, and to live in a positive mind. We can become better through education. We can be the medical examiners. We can be the new judges. We can be the new prosecutors. We can be the lawyers. We can lead the people to bettering all our lives and communities. There is trauma woven in our DNA from our ancestors, but it's up to us to change the way we think, so we don't pass that trauma on to our children. I stand with our relatives in Bighorn County. It's an ugly, unsettling feeling of not knowing what to do in these scarring situations. I watched a documentary called Murder in Bighorn, and I cried 20 minutes into the first episode. Yet, families of these young women have gave me inspiration to find my voice about this serious matter. We too are not the only ones who feel that pit of guilt and loneliness. Will you stand proudly in solidarity with me? Will you help me spread positivity? Thank you for listening to me. I can only hope I made you believe in me. AIHEC. My second speech is called Something About Powwow Season. It's an adaptation story that I completed 12 hours before I was about to present it. Without Kim Valiant's help, I wouldn't have did this category. She really pushed me and gave me words of encouragement to actually perform it. And I apologize for my bad auntie jokes in this, so yeah. I'm Becky Washday, Mitakiapi, Lakota Chaje Tiagla Devi Imachapushto. Government Chaje Veronica Shigmani Dutonka Luzahan Davis Imachapushto. Good day, my relatives. My Lakota name is Kios Claus Lodge Women, and my government name is Veronica Fastos Davis. Powwow season is here again. Finally, I've waited all winter for this. As I enter the powwow grounds, it is all stretched out before me, like your drunk auntie after she leaves the bar to go back to her man and kids. Of course, the kids are the first to sense the excitement of this social event. There's always foreign people selling Pendleton sweaters, fake jewelry, and overpriced cheap toys that will always break the next day. I could just hear a woman, I can hear someone's mom saying, "Why did you make me waste money on this?" It's just something about powwow season. Grand entry is almost ready to start. Grass dancers, fancy dancers, traditional dancers, tiny tot dancers, but there's always that one princess of the track who is always late. And guess what? It's always a female fancy dancer. They're always running to the grand entry line with one moccasin on, trying to tie their choker around their neck because their mom couldn't entangle their hair to braid it. These women dancers put a new meaning into running on Indian time. Might as well call it powwow royalty time. As I watched a fancy dancer struggle to get her other side of her moccasin on, I didn't even realize that's my niece. All of a sudden I realized I am alone. I am surrounded by my people, but yet I am alone. I wonder where my cousin is. She said she's supposed to meet me by the announcer stand. It would be nice to have someone to walk around with so no one tries to game me, and to talk to so I don't look like a weirdo. But also, I don't want anyone to know by a twist of fate, I came by myself. And you know when they refer to that phrase, shy res girl? Well, that's me. And that was me after I got sober. I wasn't ready to stand out as I abandoned my old friend alcohol. Alcohol's like a bad, messed out relationship. You could quit it the first time, but you always go back, eh? Finally, I see someone, it's my cousin. We used to party for days on the outskirts of the powwow, trying to snag or find a smoke. It's good to smile with her. I hug her and say, "Should we go smoke?" Hold on. And she says, "Where you been at, fam? What are you doing tonight? Did you check out that tight Levi butt? You know cowboys drive me nuts. Let's go check out the unks at the rodeo, eh? Maybe we'll see your baby daddy and he'll give you some prize money." My cousin rolls her eyes and says, not even this one, and asks, "Did you find a snag yet?" I replied with, "Yeah, I found myself a white boy mechanic. His hair is on fire and his skin is pale, but he sure can fix my ride without me paying." And you know that saying, once you go white, your credit is all right. "Sick," she says. There's my man and his cousin wife, thinking they're all that at the taco stand. Our laughter erupts and we both know that life. We are glad to be away from it, at least we think we are. We see that one resi couple fighting over the exes they seen at the carnival. "He's just my baby daddy. We live together, but we aren't together. One girl says her man just stands there not taking his eyes off his red enemy. We walk towards the food stand with the munchies, just red-eyed and chink. We watch all the dancers in their arena, tiny tots showing off their best moves, and I'm thinking while standing there all proud, listening to the drum, the melody of the song. We could feel the drum beat in our souls, of our feet, and I just realized it's that one chick, that one red chick with 10 kids running around her, and another little one on her hip walking past us. I felt real sacred until I turned to see that one jingle dress dancer starting to flirt with her first cousin. I guess cousins make dozens. I walk behind this drum group with that one singer who about blows his eardrum out. I guess they hit the drum so hard it does feel like a second heartbeat. There's so much beauty here, not only in the intricately designed regalia, but in the faces, the laughter, the music, and tradition. Not to mention funny, I see my ex staring at me like I'm the greasiest and fluffiest fry bread of them all. This auntie isn't into nephews no more. My cool days are over, eh? Aw, not too weak I am. I feel content and happy, connected to my traditions. I can't help but think we're so rezzed out. Supper break rolls around. Are you getting in the child line? My cousin asked. I said, no. I'm going to Taco John's. Then she asked, where are you camped out at? Maybe we could meet up later. I know I'll catch a lot of grief about this, but I admitted to her. I'm not camped. I'm at the Prairie Winds Casino for the weekend. Gee, it must be nice to have lots of money, she says. But what I didn't tell her is I snatched my man's mechanic money to buy beaded earrings and Indian tacos all weekend. Maybe he'll come teepee creeping once I find out I took his stash. We meet up later around the shade during the evening session. It's nice to see friends, relatives, and strangers from all over. It's just something about powwow season. It's good to meet new people from a distance. My inner shy res girl just can't handle making eye contact with anyone. I never seen so much white people at a powwow either. It must be tourist season. The joys of the powwows make me glad to be an Indian, glad to be alive, and most of all, glad to be sober. You have to watch what you say or they'll take it out of context, and you will be the next joke on my res. Everyone is a comedian on the res, and you just can't get butthurt about it. Not everyone has a quick and natural wit. There's always that one nephew who likes to teepee creep on old women but can't handle the jokes his uncles make about him being with the biggest bar kook. These people of mine should be professional. They could have their own stand-up shows like Auntie Beatrice. She's so crazy, she likes to smack all the cowboys and grass dancers when she's hitchhiking on the powwow trail. Auntie Beatrice always knows what to say as well. I watched her on TikTok last night, and I quote her, you know how your auntie is? I'll fucking fight you right now. I don't support or condone fighting, but me? I'll fight. The rest of you just like to talk shit, and that's your parents' fault. They didn't teach you how to defend yourself. I grew up in a different era, nephew. I grew up in a different era, my niece. Yeah, auntie handles it different. I just fucking grab hair and fall backwards. Just ask your mom. Speaking of aunties back home, you know what they call me? They call me Auntie V because every time I walk into a room full of natives, they all say, eee, and then roll their eyes and whisper, she ain't even that funny, but has the rankest laugh. You know when an auntie has to slap your shoulder while she's trying to catch her breath from laughing so hard at you for no reason? That's when you know you're a funny person. When a native woman winds her arm back to smack you in the back just to show you that you're hilarious. It's just something about powwow season that makes everyone go wild. Thank you for listening.
So what did you think about the speeches? Let's give her another round of applause.
Good afternoon, or good morning, everyone. It's so nice to be here and to be a part of this, and I feel the love, so I thank you to President Don and all the faculty here. Just being able to have today and taking that in really makes me proud to be a student from here, and it's very encouraging, so I just wanted to say that. And, you know, I don't know how mine's going to go after that good performance there, but we can give her another round of applause. That was awesome. Good job, Veronica. I know the nights we were practicing down in AIHEC in the room, and there's going to do a humorous duo, and we were trying to figure out which one to do. It's me and Simona. And I was like, do you want to do that with me? And so she was like, yeah. She was coming out of her box. She's just shy and everything, but I was hoping that she would be here because we have it was supposed to be a serious duo, right? It ended up being one of those humorous ones that had a good message at the end. And so unfortunately I won't be able to share that today because she's not here. So I'm just going to go with my persuasive speech. And this here was kind of thought of at the last minute, but it was something that I was able to talk a little bit more about and trying to sum it all up with the help of Kim. She's a really good coach and helped me along the way to really kind of perfect this. And it was really it's really one of those things where I didn't expect to even place, but it was awesome to. So I'm able to share that with you today. So we'll get started on that. How we got your baby honey washed the Korea to throw got to your imancho below and all the kota be charging you on blueby with Joshua. I trumpet for Obi Imantahana, Chante washed it up edge shoes up below. Good morning, relatives. Korea AIHEC. The name is Wamblupi Joshua, which is Sacred Eagle, Feather Man, in the Lakota language. I welcome you all with a warm heart and a good handshake. I'm very honored to be a part of your day to talk about this, share with you my persuasive speech titled, We Need 4-Year Terms. How would you rate your tribal government? Would you have a clue on where to begin? The government here within the tribe could be a whole mess if you know what I mean. I'm an enrolled member of the Gualasu tribe. I am a lifelong resident of Wounded Knee community. I have the Wounded Knee district, and I'm very familiar with tribal government. Setting a 4-year term for the Gualasu tribe is imperative to strengthening tribal government and its continuity. The benefits of having a 4-year term is within our tribal organization, we need to be better prepared for things such as this past pandemic, so crisis preparedness. We also need to be able to strategize for the future generations and actually set goals to accomplish. And then we need to give our people a voice. Many times we lack leadership to be able to give the people a voice because not many people are heard. Former Pine Ridge Council Tribal Representative Nikina Mills shared that the OST constitutional reform was imperative to give tribal membership a voice. The current 2-year term that we have is detrimental to the tribe. And we have an OST 2020 census book that shows that we currently serve a 2-year term. It's not very impactful. And it's evident, as we all know, because we live here, or we know somebody that lives here, and we all are very familiar with tribal politics. And we cannot get things done in a 2-year time span. And orientation time is very consuming. So the process goes within the tribal government that when the new tribal government comes in, it takes them anywhere from 2 to 3 months to be oriented within the tribal eternal processes. And within that time, everything basically comes to a halt. And they're trying to familiarize themselves with the process on how things work and trying to figure out where they want to go for these next 2 years. And by the time the planning is done, it's already been about 6 months to a year. And so we also have that continuity is an issue, and we all know that. And I also want to add in here the cause of my peer, Veronica, and what she was saying in her first speech. is that we have many issues here, many unsolved murders and crimes, things like this that are happening in and around our community. And many of the decisions lie within tribal government and our leadership within the tribal organization. That includes tribal courts, the AG's office, the chief judge. Every one of these political positions is very crucial to the quality and well-being of each and every person on this reservation. And their term changes with that 2-year term with our tribal legislative body. So, which is another reason why I believe that we need a 4-year term, not only for continuity, but to deal with the mess that we have in the tribe and on this reservation. And many people within our reservation are scared of that change. They're scared because of the fact that when we think about who's going to be our leaders for the next 2 years, what kind of changes are they going to make? Or are we going to have to put up with it for the next 2 years and not being able to change things, to do things, to plan, to strategize, things like this? And so, with that, if you ever have the opportunity to vote in a secretarial election, I would highly encourage you to vote for a 4-year term. According to the constitutional bylaws of our tribe, we can conduct secretarial elections. And by doing this, we give our people a voice, and we can begin to address all of these issues within our communities so that we have a longer term, so that our leadership has more time to fix these problems that they have to fix, because nothing goes past council. Thank you.
I think we have our new council representative here in the making. He persuaded me, he has my vote, even though I'm not from his district. So I want to thank you, those are amazing performances, and I really, again, express my gratitude, appreciation, and pride to all of the the coaches who helped the students, to the students who participated, and then for all of the hard work that the faculty and the staff contribute to the growth and the development and the success of our students. So with that, I want to ask everyone to give them another round of applause. And as we're ready, just to give you a little update, we will be feeding. We'll have Charlie do our prayer, and then we'll have a closing song. Well, as they're getting ready, I just wanted to make some announcements on behalf of Lakota College for the staff who are here. I know our next faculty awards will be during our May All staff, so we look forward to that. I hope that all of you will be here, the rest of your departments will be here. And we're doing something differently this year. For those of you who are not familiar with the internal processes, just to give you a little update on that. We used to have a committee that would come together, and the committee would select the individuals who received the award. The Faculty of the Year award was selected by the Vice President's office, and then one by the Center Directors. And then we would give Director of the Year award, Staff of the Year award, and so forth. But this year, it was based on who came to mind, I guess, without any type of looking at the actual work that was being done. So we wanted to do things differently, and we pulled together a group, and we developed the criteria. And just as making sure that everyone has a voice, everyone has an input, we're going to open those nominations up to the staff body. So the chairs will be able to select a Faculty of the Year award based on criteria that we have. We'll do open nominations through one of the platforms that Suzanne's working on. And the same way with the faculty, staff. And we're really excited because we're going to be included one more year award this year, and I believe it's a Faculty of the Year award, where the students will have a voice in being able to nominate their Faculty of the Year, so those 3 awards. And then we added some fun awards there. So in the next couple days, maybe next week, you might be getting some nominations through emails or directions on what to do for those specific groups. So please take your time, you can nominate, then the committee will come together and do a selection. So we really look forward to our new revised and hopefully approved faculty and staff awards during our May All Staff. So with that, we're ready for our meal prep.